In this episode, you'll discover how to adjust your technique to match the hull speed of your boat. Getting this right shaves seconds off your...
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we have a technical discussion about getting ahead or behind the speed of the boat. By that, I mean the hull speed as the bottom of your boat is traveling through the water. Now, caveat, I'm not a physicist. Caveat, I am an experienced rower and I know how to feel boats move and how it changes its velocity through the rowing stroke cycle. Why is this important? Well, efficiency is one of the measures that really separates a skillful crew from a less skillful crew. You'll all have watched races where there are a whole load of crews lined up side by side. They go off the start, and as they get into the first quarter of the race, you'll just see some crews start to inch ahead of the others. Now, yes, they may be more powerful, but power is not the only metric that matters. Efficiency is a really important key to how the best crews do well. They do well because they use their power efficiently. They do well because they help the boat hull move through the water with greater efficiency. And how do they do that? They manage their body mass really, really well. So your body mass is about your weight, actually how much you actually weigh in pounds or kilograms, whatever, plus gravity. So, we have external forces applying to us. The reason mass matters is because in physics, mass measures inertia. Now, inertia is your resistance to changes in velocity. And that's important because, of course, the entire boat is moving forwards all the time that you're rowing. Your body weight is also moving forwards with the boat, even though in your own brain, you're probably thinking that you're moving forwards and backwards because you're going up the slide on the recovery and you're returning down the slide in the power phase. Of course, this is all inverted because, of course, we're facing backwards, but never mind that for now. Basically, the whole of you and your boat are moving the whole time. And because of the sliding seat, a rowing boat doesn't travel flat or level. The bow moves up and down through the rowing stroke cycle. Let me show you what I mean. So here is a picture of a diagram which shows the boat speed through the water and where you get acceleration and where you get deceleration. So the boat's still moving forwards, but it's going faster and slower through the rowing stroke. When do you think the boat is moving at its fastest? Now, many people think that maximum boat speed happens during the power phase, but that's actually not correct. If you look at the diagrams, and for people who are listening to this, look in the show notes for the link of where to find this online, so you can see this picture. The point of maximum acceleration is actually just after the finish, after you've taken the oars out of the water. And that's an important thing to know because this is the point at which you are transitioning your body from finishing the power phase onto the recovery. And if you think about the stroke cycle, it's where you're getting your hands away, where you're beginning to get your body rock forwards. And then, of course, you release your knees, soften them, and start to roll up the slide. Now, that's good to know. And you can check this, because if you go and look at a video of a rowing boat, which is filmed from 90 degrees square off, and it includes the bow ball and at least one athlete, you can slow that video down and pause it and actually look at the bow ball and see where it gets to its highest point. When the bow ball is at its highest point, that is the point at which the athlete's body mass has moved closest towards the stern. And that is usually at the end of the recovery. But the point of maximum acceleration is actually when the bow ball is lower, and usually where the athlete is doing this transition. There are two diagrams that I'm showing on the screen at the moment. The first one shows the boat rowing at low speed, so steady state, rate 18 to 20, and the blue block says recovery, and you can see that the red circle is the highest point of boat acceleration, which is the purple line. If you now look at the right-hand diagram, you can see the point of highest acceleration is actually closer to the end of the recovery, nearer the catch, rather than just after the finish. And that's a really important insight, that actually the boat moves differently when you are at high stroke rates than when you're at low stroke rates. So let's get back then to our efficiency. Understanding that where the boat acceleration lies and how your body moves are two things that you can control. And if you can learn how to feel the boat move, you have a greater chance of being able to make refined adjustments to how you are rowing when you're at race pace compared with when you're at a steady pace. So let's have a think about the key things that you can do to help yourself learn how to do these things. So because we spend a lot of our time at low rates doing endurance work, by that I mean stroke rates under 20, and remember that first graph, the boat speed peak is just after the release when you're transitioning on to the recovery. We get quite good at efficiency at these low rates. We get good at working out how to move with the hull so that the boat moves well and we achieve that high peak speed and we don't disrupt it. But of course, most of us who race want that effect when we're at race pace. So what we need to be able to do is to improve our agility and how we are moving, and to practice it in our training. Now, we can't do loads and loads of high rate work. It doesn't form part of a periodized training. So what are the things that we can do that can actually help us keep those kind of boat skills of handling the oar when we are at low rate, and learning how to adapt how we row for when we're at high rate? And there's a simple answer, and it's agility drills. So it's pretty much what it says. It's how do you move quicker? How do you keep your handle speed in time with the boat while you're still in the middle of doing long, low rate training pieces? And the sort of agility drills I'm talking about are things that can be spliced into your long endurance rows just for short periods of time. So they won't disrupt the physiological effect that you're training, but they still keep you fresh and obviously agile. So the first one that we often do, maybe 1 minute in every 10, is half slide rowing. Half slide rowing, obviously, less recovery, your stroke rate comes up. You can do this for a minute. And if you just go from a stroke rate of, say, 20 at full slide going down to half slide, you'll find your stroke rate will naturally be at about maybe 26, 28, simply because you're not rolling the full length of the recovery on the slide. You won't get a load more tired, but what it does is it forces you to prepare your handle work earlier for the catch. It forces you to move with more thought and precision around the finish because you know that you haven't got quite the amount of time on the recovery as you do when you're at full slide. You can then progress that half slide. Instead of keeping the recovery at the same speed as you were at rate 20, and obviously just having a shorter one, you can take the rate up. So we call these up twos. So you'll do your half slide rowing, maybe do it for 5 or 10 strokes, and then someone calls up to, next stroke go, and you move more dynamically and try and take the stroke rate up 2 points, and do it again and again until you fall apart and you lose the crew cohesion, or you're in a single and you lose your front end timing. You'll find that you're missing the catch, missing water, you're not squaring early enough, you haven't got the right balance with weight in the hand on the recovery, and that tells you kind of where your limit is. Another agility drill that you can try is double quick hands round the recovery. So you release at your normal finish point, and then you move your handle twice as fast as normal round the early part of the recovery. Now, the key to doing this drill well is to ensure that you agree when you stop doing the double quick. So are we stopping the double quick once our bodies are leaned forwards, or are we stopping the double quick when we get to quarter slide or half slide? Or are we just doing double quick hands and then the body lean is at a normal speed? So just varying that, do it for a minute, and then go back into your normal rowing and notice whether you can be more precise with your movements around that part of the stroke. The other agility drill I recommend to you are pauses. We all do pause drills quite often, and the key here is to choose where you pause. So we know lots of different pause points, but a good one to try is quarter slide or weight on the feet. Now, weight on the feet is a subjective feel which can vary a lot across a crew. So if you're inexperienced, I would not recommend it, because someone will be at half slide and someone will only be at sort of bodies over. So it depends a little bit on your personal flexibility and mobility. But more experienced crews can feel weight on the feet because they actually can feel, having released their knees, when the boat glide begins and when they have the poise to feel that they're relaxed and ready to allow the boat to push them up the recovery with its forward momentum. Now, pausing at weight on the feet or at 1/4 slide is a good alternative, and you can then combine this with your double quick hands drill. So you could go double quick round to weight on the feet and then pause. Now, that's quite a layer of sophistication, but all of these help you to feel how the boat hull is moving and to improve your precision, so that varying that peak boat speed when you're still rowing at low rates will make it easier to transition to varying your technique when you are at higher rates. And learning how to feel whether you're getting ahead or behind the boat hull speed is absolutely key to going really fast when you're racing. Food for thought. Till next time.
We are part of the RowingChat podcast network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.